Good evening. I have a little bit of a different video tonight. I know I've talked about a few different kind of videos to do. By the way, I made a little cocktail here. I don't have all the proper glassware at home. I have great wine glasses and good whiskey glasses, like the Glencairns. But I don't own any coupes. So I made a Rob Roy. It's pretty much like a Scotch Manhattan. Just take the rye out and use Scotch instead. So I used a Glenlivet 12-year double oak and sweet vermouth bitters stirred, and I chilled a Glencairn. But I thought it'd be nice to do a little catch up, a lot of whispering, and to talk through, I don't know, I put in one of my last videos asking what you'd like to see, and I believe someone mentioned something about like work stories, restaurant stories, so I can absolutely talk through a few of those. I mean, right now I'm not working as much. Just been trying to pick up as much as I can because I unfortunately lost a job a little while ago, but I've had some work here and there. But I mean, I can talk about that. That was kind of crazy. First I need a little sip of my drink. That's seriously my favorite cocktail in the entire world. And I haven't had one in a while. It's really good. Anyway, and for those who are a little bit newer, yes, I'm sommelier. Yes, I love wine. I also really, really love whiskey. And I do videos on whiskey. A little while ago, it's been a few years, I did a video on Scotch. So I'll do a new one of those pretty soon. And because I have a couple different bottles at home right now on my bar. I have one. I can see my bar from where I'm sitting right now. I have a Highland Scotch, and it's unbeaten. And then I have this Glenlivet 12-year, and that's all I have open right now. I have a few different gins. I have some mezcal. I have some Irish whiskey, French whiskey. I have rum. I think that's a whiskey from Taiwan that I can see. Port, and then, a bunch of other things like on my bitters and all that. But I could do a little like bar kind of video. I have a few wine bottles sitting. I have one chilling right now, and I'm waiting to open it until I sit down and film another video. It's just tonight was not a good night for me to open a whole bottle of wine. But I'm excited to talk about that one. It'll be a really fun wine. It's one of my favorite varieties. And anyway, no, I won't talk about that too much. I'd save that for that video. But I don't know, I just wanted to have another video for you guys, just to talk about some things, make it relaxing, hopefully help you guys sleep. I do want to say that I really appreciate everyone I don't have enough watch hours for it. I have enough subscribers. My videos haven't been seen enough. So that's why I really appreciate everyone watching as much as you are, so that I can get to that point of actually making something off of it, so that I can afford to take more time to make more videos. Anyway, sorry, I think you can hear my cat eating in the background. I don't know, I have a lot of restaurant stories. I think let's talk about some drama. There's one place I worked, and one day I was still newer at this place when it happened. There's this couple who are regulars. They're divorced, and one of them was there with a friend. And then we saw that the ex had a reservation, so we called and left a message because they didn't answer, and said, "Hey, so and so is here at the bar. Just want to let you know, give you a heads up and see if they wanted to maybe sit somewhere else and not in their regular area, or reschedule to come in at a time so that they didn't have to run into their ex-spouse." And they did not answer. And so they came in and sat down not very far from their ex, and came in with their new fiance, who had their hand over this dude's shoulder and showing off the ring and whatnot. And so the ex, the one who was there first, let me have another sip. The one who was there first, at one point got up, went to the restroom. On their way back, stopped, said hi, introduced themselves to the new fiance, and I think congratulated them, and then walked back over to their friend. They were freaking out, laughing so hard, and I was laughing so hard watching the whole thing. That person just became my favorite person in the world. So, and the ex, the one that we called to say hey, heads up, I heard from some other people. Like I said earlier, at this point I was still kind of new at that place, so I didn't know these people yet. The ex that came in later was kind of a jerk. No one really liked this person, so it was really, really fun to watch. Yeah. And then I did interact with both of them, and I can absolutely see why things did not end well between the two of them. So we see drama like that. I have friends who have told all sorts of stories. I live in a big city. We see famous people a lot, and one of my friends had a regular who's an actor who got in a huge fight with her spouse at the bar once, and stormed out, and so I hear stories like that. I've had some people walk in who are really well known, very famous, who I didn't even recognize at first. I was like, that's kind of funny, you kind of look like that person, and then I later realized that's because they are that person. Yeah, I have a few stories about that. I won't say names, at least right now, but one of my favorite actresses came in on a day that I was working, and I knew that she was coming in. She'd been there before, not on a day that I was working, but she was coming in, and I love movies and everything that I've seen her in. too nervous, and I just couldn't even say a word, and I just kind of walked by, turned around with this like stupid grin on my face because I was actually speechless seeing this person right in front of me. But she's very sweet, I'll say that. She's very, very sweet. Yeah, there's that. There's another actor who I really like who came in, and I didn't realize he was even there until I was standing right next to him and kind of turned my head, and I just said a quick hi, and he was like, hi, and then that was it. And I talked to him later, but yeah, it's like when you're not expecting it, and then you're like, oh. Why does that sound like it's flying so low? Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. But yeah, I do have a lot of those stories. A lot of crazy things have happened with like places I've worked. Kind of people I've worked for. Years ago, this was like 10 years ago, I worked at this one place. Terrible restaurant. I've worked at a lot of good places. This was a terrible restaurant. I worked in, the chef was crazy. It was like really racist and misogynistic and all that. You know, he would say horrible things about, like, one time he said he wouldn't eat pizza at a certain place because he said something about like not trusting Latino guys to cook Italian food. It made me so angry. Anyway, this dum-dum one day was like dropped something on the kitchen floor, and we were trying to mop at the time. Dropped something, it broke. It was like some sort of ceramic dish, and went and like scooped it up, and there was like food, so it was like all wet and gross, and there's like food all over, and he gets this massive gash on his hand, and his first thought is like, I'm gonna dunk my hand into a bucket of bleach. You're gonna what? Honestly, I feel like I should have let him. But I didn't. I was like, no. And it was me and this, it's all women. It was me and this one other woman who worked there. We're like, no. And we like grabbed stuff so you could clean it properly and like wrap it. And oh my god, some people are so stupid. Anyway, I don't know why some people can be so stupid. But yeah, I have a lot of stories like that. I have good stories too. Like, one time, that same restaurant, I think we just had like a Manhattan on our cocktail list, and I don't know, we used some like special cherries, and that's why, as a garnish, and so that's why we had it on our cocktail list. And I had these, like it was like two couples at this one table, and I was a server here, and they're looking through the list, and one of them, she asks me, she's like, oh, how's this drink? And she points to Manhattan. And I told her, I'm like, well, I asked if, she's a whiskey drinker, and she said no. And she's like, do you like how I like it, but I'm a whiskey drinker. So I did explain that, like, rye can have, like, a little bit of a kick to it. And, because it can, for some people, it can be, like, a little spicy. And everyone at the table tried to convince her. They're like, no, you are not gonna like a Manhattan. This is not your kind of drink. And I tried to talk to her about, like, what she normally likes to drink and all that. And she ended up ordering the Manhattan, and then I dropped the drinks. like isn't necessarily what you like. And I've since, I've worked in restaurants of like all different cuisines. I've worked in like Japanese, Indian, Korean places and whatnot. And like I learned to handle spice from like Korean food a long time ago. And I've just like built on that. So whenever people ask me, they'll like look at me, they'll look at me and ask like, "Oh, is this spicy?" I'm like, I am the worst person to ask. I like really, really, really spicy food. I like my food to be very spicy. I'm like the worst to ask about it, but I have like one time. This will be my last quick story because I don't want this to be a really long video. But I'll take another sip of my drink first. But I worked at this place that did like Mediterranean food, and everyone there, when I started working there, when I worked there, I came from like working in a Korean place to this place, and they would talk about the food, and they're like, "Oh, this dish is spicy, this dish is spicy, this has a kick to it," and I would taste it, I'm like, "What are you talking about? There's like warmth to it, but it's not spicy," and they're like, "Oh, it's so spicy, it's so spicy," and I could like make fun of that with like one of our chefs because she was like, "Yeah, no, this stuff is not spicy at all." But I one time like cracked a joke about that with a guest because they were asking about it, and I was being completely honest, and I brought over this dish and I explained it and like what the chef did with it, like special things in it, and I'm like, it has like a small kick to it, and when I say small, I'm like, I mean it's really small. And I said, the first time I tasted this, because it was a new dish, I'm like, trust me when I say like people here were like, "Oh, it's so spicy, it's so spicy." No, trust me, like it's just like the tiniest little kick. People here cannot handle the spice, and this guest thought that was hilarious. And then I like went on to talk about when I first started working there and tasting dishes, and they're like, "This is so spicy, this is our spiciest dish," and I'm like, there's no heat to it at all. So I was so over that job. But like I've done things like that. I still keep things professional. But there's some things like that you can get away with, and then, when you're also, I don't know, I think anyone who's worked anywhere where it's like, you just grow to hate your job for whatever reason, whatever the company's doing, whatever they're doing that's like frustrating you. You get to this like, I don't give up attitude, and that's, I don't know, I got there with that place a bit, and you can, I don't know, some of you I think can probably relate to the, wow, I really do not care what I say, but I'm still gonna keep it professional. I'm not gonna do anything that could like get me fired, but I'm gonna be honest. But people like the honesty, and that's what's so funny about it. And anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I like doing something a little bit more casual like this, and changing the environment a little bit, like having my plants in here too. And if you really enjoyed this little like chatty story time kind of video, let me know in the comments. Let me know other things you want to see. If you want to do like a little bar tour video, I can do that and like go through all these different like spirits that I have on my bar, and different bottles that I'm waiting to open, and things like that. Well, I might not want to move the bottles because some of them have been sitting for so long. Like, I don't want to have sediment